Can U.S. immigration really stop you from returning to the United States even if you have a green card? That's a question someone dropped on a recent video that I did specific to visiting the Dominican Republic with his Dominican wife and children who have green card status. And honestly, it kicked off a conversation I wasn't expecting. And then with a little bit of research, I learned a lot. Let's dive in. Douglas Deskins said, Jamie enjoyed the video. Any insight on Dominicans with green cards being detained when returning to the United States? To be honest with you, I have no idea, but I saw some of the answers and I thought they were interesting. Sam N. Wakefield said, what are you talking about detained? And Douglas replied, I'm wondering if Dominicans with U.S. green cards are being detained at U.S. immigration when coming back to the U.S. Valerie Burgos said, no, why would they be? To which Douglas replied, hey, I'm concerned for my wife and daughters who are from the DR. I have read stories about U.S. citizens and U.S. green card holders being detained at U.S. immigration when returning. Sam came back and said, why should they if a green card holder is a legal citizen? And then one of my favorite subscribers in the world, Partera Kiskayana, said, don't let the fear-mongering scare you. Check the rules for residents going out of the U.S., follow those rules, don't commit crimes, and you'll be fine. Green card holders have always been detained. When they don't follow the rules, it's nothing new. By the way, with Partera, go check out her channel. She's a midwife in the US, a doctor in DR, and her channel is dedicated to women's health and it's in Spanish. So give her a subscribe. I'll make sure the link is down below. She always has logical, really like even-keeled comments that she puts in the videos. I love reading when she comments. So thank you, Partera Kiskayana. So look, now I'm not Dominican, nor do I hold a green card. I and my family are all US citizens, even though my wife was born in the Dominican Republic. But I didn't want to guess. I wanted to do some digging and learn a little bit more to educate all of you if this is a concern for you. And what I found might actually surprise you. So here's what the law says, like just breaking it down. Green card holders, lawful permanent residents, can travel internationally, but they must carry a valid green card, avoid long absences, and generally 6+ months starts to raise questions. So if you go away for a week or two, no issue on a green card. You have to not appear to have abandoned your US residency, which is where the long duration out of the US makes maybe the US think that. And you have to have no disqualifying criminal convictions. Disqualifying. Tough word. So in most cases, you're absolutely allowed to travel and then come back, but there are rules, like Partera Kiskayana said. And if anything's off, this is where it gets tricky. Under Trump's immigration policy, things are shifting a little bit. The bar kind of got higher. Trump's executive orders expanded both ICE and Customs and Border Patrol's discretion. So green card holders could be flagged for old or minor criminal offenses, social media activity considered political or anti-American, or if there's perceived risk. I know that's very vague and very broad, but that's the language. If there's perceived risk, green card holders could be detained. And legal permanent residents can be questioned or even detained without formal charges if they see a potential violation. In fact, my understanding is if you're a green card holder and not a citizen, your electronics are subject to search and seizure without any sort of due process. Again, my understanding, do your research. So technically the law didn't change, but the way it's enforced, it definitely did. Let's look at a couple of cases. First one is Fabian Schmidt. He's a German green card holder. He was detained at Boston Logan after a long trip to Europe. Now, he has some charges in the past, marijuana possession and DUI from over 10 years ago. There's also allegations that he's been mistreated in custody, and I think he still may be in custody, over a month at this point, in Boston. And all of this despite holding a green card. So this guy lived in the United States for 15 years. This wasn't about that. It was about the record. Now there's another one that's interesting to me too, and it's not a green card, but a work visa. Her name is Jasmine Mooney, and she's actually Canadian, a Canadian actress. She tried entering through San Diego in order to renew her work visa, which she had issued previously, but it had expired. When she entered without the right work visa, she was detained for 12 days, no charges. She also alleged mistreatment, sleeping on cold floors, that sort of thing for the 12 days that she was held. She was eventually sent back to Vancouver and gave an interview and talked about her experience. The issue in her case was wrong visa paperwork. She didn't commit a crime, she just didn't have the right documents at the time, and it spiraled. I want to dive deeper on this one because it's interesting to me because my perception, and maybe yours, is that Canadians could just sort of go back and forth, like, yeah, no big deal. But here's what I learned. Yes, Canadian citizens can enter the United States without a visa if they're coming for tourism or business. So Canadian citizens can enter the US on their passport if it's for tourism or a business meeting. But that's very different than working in the United States. To work legally in the US, Canadians need what's called a TN visa, a trade NAFTA visa, which is part of the Mexico-Canada-US agreement. It only covers certain professions, and you have to have the paperwork, a valid offer, and clear legal status. In Jasmine's case, her TN visa had reportedly lapsed. So even though she had entered through that same port before, this time she was missing documentation. And that is what triggered her detention. Right or wrong, that's just the facts. She didn't have criminal charges, she didn't overstay, it was just paperwork. And again, she reported harsh conditions with shackles and concrete floors and all of that stuff. So again, even Canadians, who people think could just walk into the country at any point, which I thought, are still subject to US immigration law. And when you're applying to work, even and especially under this new administration, it matters if anything's out of place. Now, a more famous case out there has been the case of Makmoud Khalil, a Columbia University student on a green card, who was arrested for participating in pro-Palestinian protests. Well, I say that 5 times fast. Pro-Palestinian protests. ICE officials said, hey, he's a national security concern, and they wanted him detained and then deported to Algeria or Syria. So he's been in detention. A Louisiana judge has ruled that he could be deported, but until April 23rd, which will be after this video releases, he's got time until then to file appeals to prevent his deportation. So we'll see where that goes. But again, his deal, if you go into the depths of this, he was very vocal and active in these pro-Palestinian protests. I'm understanding that he also was part of the shutdown of the Columbia dorms. Yeah, a lot of attention for yourself as a green card holder doing what would be perceived as anti-American acts, like shutting down dorms to protest. Citizens can, green card holders may not be able to. Again, that's not my opinion. I'm just citing the facts. I don't want to hear the MAGAs and the lefties and the pro-Palestine and the pro-Israel. That's not what this is about. We're talking about, should a green card holder be concerned if they come down here to the Dominican Republic that they're not going to be able to get back into the United States? I'm giving you some examples of this. The other one is Kilmar Garcia, who was deported from Maryland to El Salvador after what I believe was a 2019 protection order that he shouldn't be. There was some discussion about it was an erroneous deportation, but then it wasn't. He's got MS-13 ties. He's in a supermax prison in El Salvador. He is not a U.S. citizen. He is an illegal immigrant in the country. Again, not going to litigate this, but the point is the scrutiny on him got him put into the grouping of being sent to El Salvador, and then there they saw him as enough of a threat to imprison him. Now, Democratic lawmakers have actually traveled to El Salvador. This part, I'll be honest with you, I struggle with. That's taxpayer dollars for you to travel down there. For somebody that's not a U.S. citizen, there's been delegates from Florida, from Maryland. I mean, this is where in the political realm, I'll just say this. I do believe that right now Democrats need to get stronger, and this isn't the issue to get stronger with. This is not the way to get stronger. I don't like all Republican. I don't like all Democrat. I need 2 strong parties in the United States. And this stuff is just tone deaf for the general populace, not maybe for all of us, but for many people, it's like, you're taking taxpayer-funded trips to another country to talk to somebody who was an illegal immigrant, granted, due process, all that, I get it, when in your own state there are plenty of problems. That would be like me leaving my family and all the problems they have for me to go take care of another family because it was politically expedient to do so and look better. To be honest with you, I don't know why this is the first time I'm hearing about, and maybe for many of you, Jasmine Mooney, the girl from Canada, and Fabian Schmidt, the green card holder from Germany. Like, if this dude had a DUI 10 years ago, like now he's detained and sent back. I mean, to me, I would be more up in arms about those 2 cases, but there's a lot of layers to that, which many of you can read between the lines on exactly what I mean by a lot of layers to that. Who they are, where they're from, so on and so forth. But the point I'm making is, like, to me, it's like, wait, some Canadian came in to renew her visa and got detained for 12 days? That's insane. Or a green card holder came back from Germany and was arrested and sent to jail because of a marijuana conviction 10 years ago when he's lived here, I guess, from what I understand, perfectly fine ever since then. In the other cases, whether we believe in Makmoud Khalil or we believe that, the Garcia guy should or shouldn't have been deported, there is a lot of evidence to suggest that these 2 probably pose more of a threat. So in the context of this video, like, pretty high amount of information on both of them that would concern U.S. officials. No one disputes that Khalil was involved in the shutdown and, police having to go in and pull people out of the Columbia dorms that were shutting down. He was part of that. Like, don't do that if you're a green card holder. You're not a citizen. Imagine me doing that here in the Dominican Republic. How disrespectful would that be of me as a guest in this country? And honestly, even if I were a naturalized citizen, right now I'm in the process of applying to be a citizen, but even then, like, I don't know, it's not my home country. There's a standard, I believe, of logic to apply here. Yeah, you have the right, doesn't mean you should. My take, maybe I'm wrong, tell me what you believe below. And with Kilmar Garcia, I mean, at the minimum, it's true that his wife filed restraining orders at least twice for past domestic disputes. Maybe they were right, maybe they were wrong, maybe they were real, maybe they weren't. I know she's come out in support of him recently, but that doesn't mean that there isn't some stuff there. And there's a lot of evidence around his connection to MS-13, human trafficking. There's a whole bunch out there. Again, I'm not going to litigate the whole thing, but my point is, like, why are we getting these two out there as the martyrs for the immigration policy? It seems like their cases are a little bit more illogical as far as their detentions. Again, maybe that's me. I'd love to hear what you think below. Now, I want to share with you the reality for the people that are concerned about coming down here on a green card and not getting back into the United States. But before I do, I'm exhausted. And when I'm exhausted, I need to lay down. And when I need to lay down, I get a mattress from Colchones Naco. Colchones Naco is a premier mattress store here in the Dominican Republic with 3 different locations in Santiago, Santo Domingo, and here in Punta Cana. They have products from Simmons to Sealy to Serta to their own Naco Royal line. In fact, my house is stocked full with Colchones Naco's mattresses. So if you're moving down here, if you're buying down here, you have an apartment, you want to help somebody out that needs a mattress, go to colchonesnaco.com or stop in one of their stores and give them code Gruber2025. We'll put it right here at the bottom, and you'll get 2 free pillows with the purchase of a mattress as my gift to you. And I appreciate your sponsorship, Colchones Naco. Now here's the deal. Green card holders travel. Green card holders come back all the time. You hear the sensational cases. Yes, they're individual. Does it mean that it's going to happen to you? Likely no. We're talking about high-profile cases that we just went through, and it's almost like the Sadiq Shakananki case down here in the Dominican Republic. Like, after she ended up what looks like drowning and disappearing, so many in the US media made it like, oh, the Dominican Republic is such an unsafe place, like if you go there, you're gonna drown, when one person went missing. It's illogical in many ways to say, oh my God, it's not safe to go to the Dominican Republic because one girl went missing and it looks like on her own accord. Now, comparing that to the green card situation in the US is a bit unfair in as much as this young lady, many can see, probably made some bad decisions. Now, somebody who leaves the US on a green card that has past legal issues, that has posted a ton of anti-American stuff on social media, that's not vanilla down the line, no big deal. Yeah, probably irresponsible of you to leave the country when coming back you stand a high risk of not being able to come out of detention. But if generally speaking, you have really nothing to worry about, like Partera Quisqueyana said, then you travel, you come back. What would I do? Poof, that's a tough one. I can see all sides of this. If I'm Douglas Deskins and my wife and children are the most important thing to me, the fear in my heart coming back into the country at the possibility of them being detained, I think I'd struggle. I'd struggle to leave the country at this point, but that's just me. But let's keep it practical. Let's keep it real. What can you do as a green card holder to avoid detention when you come back into the United States? Avoid extended absences. Don't leave if you have especially unresolved legal issues. Consult an immigration attorney if you need to, and keep a strong paper trail with US ties, your tax records, your leases, your mortgage, whatever it might be. I hope this helps. I hope you can send this to some folks that may need it. Maybe you know some folks on a green card that are worried about this, and I don't know that I settled it for you, but at least gave you a little bit more information to have a sense of what's actually going on. Listen, I've opened up some spots in my calendar for those that have asked about doing a one-on-one consultation. I'll drop the link at the very top of the description of the video below. In addition, there are plenty of other links if you need help with real estate attorneys, you name it, it's all down there for you. I know these can be very difficult times for certain folks with certain statuses. Keep in mind, if you are a US citizen, there is no evidence, no issue, nothing at all to suggest that you'll be detained. If you're a citizen, you're a citizen. So no worries there. But for green card holders, I feel you. I can understand where the fear would come from. Speaking of deportations, I did a video over here talking about the Haitian deportations going on down here and that impact on real estate. If you're interested in learning more about that, it's right here for you. Take a look, and I'll see you on the next video.